Welcome to Arsen Girl Plays. Please subscribe and ring the bell. That way you won't miss out on my next video. Hey guys, welcome back to Arsen Girl Plays. I'm back in Club Roblox today and I am gonna do a speed build of my candy cane igloo just for you guys. Yes, I have changed my igloo into a candy cane wonderland, but before I get started showing you the build, I gotta empty what exists out of it now. Ignore the colors. I was using it for a photo shoot for snow and I just needed a green screen so the walls became that. But anyway, blank slate. Let's get started. First glance, this house looks like it would be so easy to transform. It's not that big, but let me tell you, it was a little tricky. So the first thing I wanted to do was build a staircase to this upstairs area. I mean, it's not really an upstairs area, but it's the area over the bedrooms. So I wanted to turn it into something I was kind of envisioning like a hangout area so that the downstairs could be very classy and very family oriented. And then the upstairs is where you kind of let loose, do some fun stuff. And I started working on those stairs and I realized I was bumping my head on the beam. So what I did is I took these wall panels, I built them out just as far as the beam and used them as a fake wall. So I could have used the white walls, but I decided to go with the brown ones because I wanted to add a little contrast. I know that I'm going to turn this whole house into one big candy cane, and I needed it to have something to play off of the red and the white. So I decided to go with a lot of brown. I kept the floors wood. I'm using the wood walls because it kind of makes the colors pop when I do that. And if you noticed, I turned some of the wall green there for a second, and that was just so I could see where I was placing the wall pieces. I do that sometimes just to kind of draw attention to it so that it stands out from the white around it. Otherwise, when you're in build mode, it all kind of blends together and gets really, really super bright. And I'm using a trick here to kind of position these stairs where I want them with the stages. I kind of throw the stage, place the stairs, and hope that they're positioned properly. It's not 100%. It's not the easiest way to do it, but it works. So I wanted to make sure you guys knew how to do that. You will notice if you look really closely at the stairs, the gap, there's a couple stairs that have a gap, and that's just because of the positioning, but I didn't want to tear it all down and try it again. So just ignore that. The other thing that I'm going to do is hide these stairs here with more wood panels so that you have the staircase, you can get upstairs, but you don't actually have to see it, and it just becomes a hidden part of the room. Now what I did is I did not speed this video up as fast as I normally do. I wanted to be able to take a little bit of time and kind of explain what I was working on because I get a lot of feedback from you guys that you can't see what I'm doing and that you want to try to learn how to do it yourself. So I'm trying things a little bit differently in this video. It is a little longer than it normally would be because of that. So the whole build itself took me about 5 hours and ended up with about 3.5 hours of footage. So I have sped it up and cut it down to I think somewhere like 23 minutes. I don't know if 23 minutes will be what we end up with when I upload this, but that's what we're working with right now. I don't think you guys want to sit around and watch 3.5 hours of footage. So I sped it up, slowed it down. I'll try to answer questions. If you have questions, leave them for me in the comments and I will try to answer those as well. But doing a build like this, a lot of times it's just trial and error. I'll try something. If I like it, it'll stay. If I don't like it, I can tear it all down like those stairs and redo it. I kind of play around with different ideas. So like when I came into this build, I'm just going to start there. I came into this build thinking I wanted to turn this into a house that kind of reflected my avatar. It's almost Christmas and this is an igloo house. It's snowy outside. So I wanted it to be Christmassy. I wanted it to be festive and I based it on my outfit. So it's going to be red and white. Those are going to be the main colors. But like I said, I'm using browns and wood tones to kind of balance the red and the white and not make it like so in your face, you know? And now because it's an igloo, the ceiling is all one piece. So it might look like there's walls upstairs, but it's really a ceiling piece. So I used a lot of color. I do turn the ceiling a specific color later on in the video, but I use a lot of color to kind of bring your eye to different places and kind of force you to focus on certain things. You see here with the color, I'm using the green on the door jambs because I want to be able to see them stand out. So I picked a really bright color. It won't stay that color, obviously, but I wanted to be able to position everything properly. So I used really, really bright colors to do that. I'm also going to use a lot of decals in this build, and I did try to make it so that you guys could see the decal codes if you pause the video. So if you like any of the decals I added and ended up using, you should be able to grab the codes from the video. But I'm going to do them very much so in the kitchen. I'm going to do them as some wallpaper. I'm going to use them, of course, as art, which they're intended as. So you can see I'm placing them down here in the kitchen. I'm playing with sizing of the images because we have small, medium, and large images that we can use. And so I know I'm going to be doing flooring, and I kind of wanted to make sure that my island did not get too close to the pit, because the pit's going to be where you're going to eat, and you want to be able to walk around behind the island. If you have a party, you want to be able to have food on the counter. People come up to the counter, grab the food. So it's all about having space to walk behind it. So I switched from the big decals to the medium-sized decals, and I'm trying to do the same here for behind the cabinet. So you see that I placed the cabinets, I put the decals above it to kind of see the placing, and it ended up working out perfectly that I could have medium above and below, and I didn't have to put it behind the cabinets, because if it's on the wall, the cabinets are a little bit hard to place. So by kind of tricking your eye that way, it looks like the whole wall is going to be covered in wallpaper, or in this case it will be tile, but it's not. It's just the two bands above and below the cabinet. So it's kind of a little trick that I use, and I'm really thankful to my friend Ravi for kind of giving me that inspiration to use the decals as wallpaper. I don't know why that never even crossed my mind. But now, one word of warning with decals, we do only get 36 decal slots. I have reached out to Steve at Block Evolution asking him if they could increase that, because obviously now that we're using decals as wallpaper and accents, we're going to need more than 36 slots. I ran into that here. I was full up. I had to go in and delete a bunch of decals, which means if I use them in another build, they would be gone. And so I had to be really careful to make sure they were decals I had not used elsewhere. And speaking of decals, you're seeing I'm using a lot of them around the fireplace. I love taking the decals and using them to kind of extend the fireplace, make the fireplace feel more grand. I also use them here on the floor, as you're seeing, as like a fireplace surround, you know, because you don't want those sparks to come out of the fireplace and kind of cause problems with the house burning down. You know, that could be kind of bad. So it really is nice. And I didn't know at the time of this build which decals I was going to use, what materials, what colors, things like that. So I just went ahead and just put them down because I knew that I was going to want to put decals in and where I wanted them. I just didn't know what they were going to be. So here I'm doing them for a carpet. I want to put a carpet in this area. Now the table doesn't want to go on the decals, so I kind of played around with it and I couldn't get the decal back in. So basically what I ended up doing was putting the decals down, and then I sit and I keep throwing the table with my aim. Like I just changed the camera angle so that I can eventually get it where I want it. It takes a lot of trial and error, but play around with that, because where your camera is looking is pretty much where the item is going to throw. So there's your little tip. That's probably the most helpful tip with kind of glitch building or doing things that aren't supposed to be done in the game right now. You just keep throwing things at walls and at the air until they stick, and then kind of build from there. Now with the stairway back at the beginning of the video, what I did is I used a combination of the throwing and the stage platforms to get the stairway where I wanted it, and then I deleted the stage platforms. So that way, you know, you don't have this ugly stage showing up, but you got things. And that was a trick that I learned from Nia when I toured her house videos. So if you saw me touring Queen's houses, she was the one who like woke me up to that. I was like, oh, that is so brilliant. I don't even know why I didn't think about that. So it's definitely a lot of inspiration for me when I visit my friends' houses, talk to my friends, see what they do. Like right here with the pool table, kind of had to do the same thing. I kind of had to throw the pool table where I wanted it because underneath the pool table is actually carpets. And we know in Club Roblox, you can't really put things on carpets easily. So throwing things in the right vicinity until you get it where you envision it is the best and only way to kind of do it at the moment. I'm hoping someday that will be changed. I'm actually hoping someday the whole build system will be changed. So we'll have pieces like the wall pieces that we can put down as floors and put things on and decorate and so forth. Other games I play, you can do that. And I'm hoping that Club Roblox will follow suit because obviously this is one of my favorite games to build in. I just love the whole aesthetic of the items that they have in this game. So it kind of is fun for me to get really creative and try to like push myself outside of my normal comfort zone for building. And so yeah, so I'm hoping you guys are getting a little inspiration from this video. I'm hoping it's not too long and too boring for you. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments what you're thinking and if you enjoyed it this way or if you want me to go back to doing it the other way where it's a little bit shorter and I don't talk through the whole thing. So just drop a comment. Let me know what you're thinking and what your thoughts are on this video. And you'll notice here back to the build, I spent a lot of time trying different codes for the floor. I couldn't really find one I liked, so I just decided to go very simple and use this white herringbone tile style, and then I kind of messed around with it trying to get the lines to line up so it didn't look too bad. And it is the same tile that I'm using on the walls in the kitchen, so it does make the kitchen very white, but I'm using red counter, so I'm like being very bold with the counter color, and so I think it worked really well. A lot of my art is going to be red or Christmas themed, so it's all going to kind of work together. I mean, that is my intention anyway. And here you go. I'm using a decal code to lay down this carpet. I wanted it to look candy caned, so I found a kind of narrow red design and laid it out this way with the white image board, and it makes that striped image. See, it's all about kind of tricking the eye. Everything is designed to be red and white striped. If you're not getting that by now, that's kind of the whole backbone of this build. But I really, really wanted to make sure that while I was doing it striped, it wasn't like just trite, you know? I didn't want it just to be, okay, here's stripes. I wanted it to use the colors. Like if you look at the railing upstairs, it's red, but the walls are white and everything, so it kind of pops. Now, I will change that a little bit later, but that was the whole idea for the red railing. Then I went with red and white striped furniture. Get it? So it's white, red, white. So I got the stripes. And I'm also going to use some windows to kind of add to that red and white stripe. And you'll see what I mean here in just a minute. But I kind of took these rounded walls where you can't really place anything. The igloo is kind of weird with wall placement. So to the right of the fireplace, that whole wall section is kind of curved. So you can't really place anything on it. Everything pops at a weird angle. So I placed the pictures next to the fireplace. I'm going to build out the walls here in just a minute and give myself the ability to make single paned windows with a little trick. And it's kind of a nice little eye trick. So you can see here I'm placing the windows, but the windows have no snow outside of them, right? So I'm going to hide the windows, but I needed them there for my candy canes. You'll see what I'm going to do here. So I'm building out this wall, and I'm kind of trying to figure out how to make it. What I want to do is have windows on it, and, you know, we can't snap anything to these fake walls. So I'm kind of playing with the physics that are in the game right now. And so this is a 2-pane window, but because of the way the wall is laid out, I can kind of hide half of it, and I still get the effect of having the windows there. And then I'm going to color the window blinds red, and then when they're closed, it is going to look like candy cane stripes throughout the whole first floor, which will add a bunch of color to the walls without me having to color the entire wall and give you the effect of what I'm going for. I hope you like that. I hope it doesn't sound too corny or look too corny, but everything in the back of my head was like candy cane, candy cane, candy cane. But I didn't want to just go and like be in your face candy cane. I want you to kind of go, oh, oh, oh. And I wanted to use lights too. And you can see I'm trying to place lights on these windows, but again, I ran into the same problem with the walls. So I couldn't really place them. So I decided I'll place them where I can place them. And then I'm going to use curtains to kind of bring in more kind of an aesthetic look to the windows. And I'm not going to lie, to be honest, I really like the way it turned out. It's not something I had intended to do at the beginning, but again, trial and error, and it ended up becoming one of my favorite things. And then I would use the same curtain trick in the bedroom later to kind of add some more color into the master bedroom. So you'll see that in a minute. I'm playing around with the colors and the clutter, I guess, in the kitchen too, because you always have to have a little bit of a cluttered kitchen. But I kind of wanted to keep with the candy cane thing, so I hope it's not too much red in there. And then now I'm going to work on my favorite room, of course, which is the nursery. And I really love this new playhouse we got, but it is massively huge. And so I thought, why not turn it into a bed, quote unquote, for Skylar? And I did it the way I have it right now, and then I was like, I really want to get this bed in the middle of this playhouse, and I just kind of messed around with it until it worked. And so at the end of this, you will see that I got the bed in here. Now I'm playing around with decals. I'm not really sure what I want to do with the walls in this room. I know I want to get that whole candy cane feel, so I started out with these decals, but I'm actually going to work on it a little bit, and I love the way it ended up. I found the cutest decal that would work perfectly, so we'll come back and visit that in just a minute. I did visit my friend Ravi's Igloo, and she had taken this little alcove between the rooms and turned it into a bathroom so that she could take the bathroom and turn it into a bedroom. So I stole that idea from her, and so built in this little bathroom here, and I wanted to make sure that you could do your laundry, because you know, with the baby, you've got to wash a lot of laundry. So I kind of just fit that all into that little bathroom space. It is just a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house, but it's a small house. So now this used to be the bathroom. Now it is the master bedroom. Also stole this idea from Ravi. She actually did it. I want to say she didn't do it in her house, I don't think, but she did it in my friend Katie's house when we were on live stream. So I really love that idea. And so thanks, Ravs. I borrowed it. And then this is the master bedroom. Played around with carpets. I wanted the carpets to kind of beef up the floor where I used like a gray white tile. So I definitely wanted color. I didn't want to leave it all white, and I didn't want to overwhelm it with red either. So hopefully I have the right like balance. But you see, now I have a candy cane carpet laid down. I think it worked out really well. Of course, I had to add some candy cane pet items too, because we can't leave out our pets. I mean, we have so many of them, so they need to feel at home. I put down 3 beds because I typically have 3 pets, and of course, if people come to visit, all the pets need a place to sleep. Again, staying with candy cane theme, everything is red and white and candy caned. And now I'm back in Skylar's room, and look what I'm doing with the wallpaper. So I wanted to go candy cane, right? And I found this really cute candy cane wallpaper image. So what I did is I decided to use the candy canes to make a candy cane. See what I'm doing here? So it's a candy cane stripe made of candy canes, and then I'm going to turn it all red so that it looks like stripes. I love it. I think it's probably my favorite wallpaper I've done so far. And here you can see where I'm messing around with Skylar's bed and getting it stuck in the house. So not only does she have a playhouse, but she has a playhouse bed, and I think it is the cutest thing. It was not easy. Don't ask me how I did it. I just kept messing around until it happened. So okay, now we're going to take a finished tour of the house, but before I do that, I'm going to give it the candy cane look you saw at the beginning. And here we go. So red and white outside as well. You can see Ravi's house next to me. She kind of went gray with hers, but I am going red and white, and we're going to go inside and we're going to take a look at the finished product. Let's go. Alright, so when you walk in the door, here's what you see. See where I went with that, with the browns and the reds and the whites. I think everything pops and still feels warm. Like, I think if I had gone all red and white, it would feel too cold in here and not cozy. And I kind of really wanted to make a very cozy place where you would want to kind of cuddle up in front of the fire, hang out in the house, and yet still have that bright and cheerful feeling from all the candy cane stuff. So everything kind of played together. I also used some grays and some blacks because I didn't want it to just be a one-dimensional thing, and already these windows are outlined in black, not something we can change really easily. So yeah, so I think it came out really good. My favorite parts, though, I have to say, have got to be the carpet under the dining room table and the wallpaper in Skylar's room. I really just love the way that came out. And then I also like these big open windows. They let in a lot of light, and of course Skylar's little cozy bed house, playhouse bed, whatever you want to call it, kind of gives her a little room darkening so that she's not going to wake up too early in the morning. And of course went with the candy cane colors in the bathroom, but that's it. I didn't want to add too much color into that bathroom because it's a tiny room. And again, in the bedroom, same thing. It's a small bedroom, so I went mostly white with red as the accent colors, and I just really love the way this came out. Now the upstairs has a little bit of a different feel. I still went with the candy canes up here, and we have the white flooring, but the walls are dark because I took the walls, made them super dark because the ceiling's dark, and I wanted that contrast again because it also adds to that warm feeling in the house. So red, white, black, gray, browns, those were pretty much my whole color palette for this house, and I really love how it came out. It just feels really warm and cozy to me, and it's definitely become one of my favorite houses, and I will be really curious to see what you think about this house as well. So if you could give me any feedback, I take it all, positive and negative, in the comment section. Go for it. Tell me what you think, what you love, what you hate. I don't care. Just tell me. I love feedback. Anyway, I do hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, tell me if you like me talking through the whole thing or if you prefer it when I just do the speed and run some music. Let me know. But also, if you enjoyed it, give me a thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel and you'd like to see more, please go ahead and smash that subscribe button, ring the bell. That way you'll get notified when I post something new on the channel and you won't miss out because there's lots more coming, and I hope you're here for all of it. I also want to say thank you to all of you for being part of my first 7,000 subscribers here on the channel, helping me grow. I really appreciate all of you so much, and here's to the next 7,000. You guys, until next time, bye!